Hope Channel, changing lives.
Marriage, as instituted by God, is supposed to be one of the most beautiful unions between a man and a woman. But is that so? Is that the reality? Today we are going to do something different on your favorite show, Real Talk, in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. We are going to look at marriage, the ideal and the reality, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because as two imperfect people coming together to fit perfectly for this beautiful union, obviously there will be challenges, there will be disagreements, but in the next breath there will also be great companionship, love, there will be family, children, and amazing things. I have with me two couples, people I admire so much. We are looking at couples, young couples who have been married for a year or a little over a year, and couples who I can say have some sort of experience. They've been together for over 10 years. Today we are going to look at the honeymoon phase, the struggles in marriages, the joy, the sadness, and all of it. I will introduce my guests to you. They are joining me virtually because you know, COVID is around. We are trying to keep everyone safe, but at the same time, bring you your favorite show. This couple, you know them. They've been in the studio with me. They've been with me virtually as well. They came on the show before they got married. So they are our honorary married couples, if we should say. And today we are happy to have them in the studio. I have with me Mr. and Mrs. Nai. Guys, if you can hear me, please say hi to myself and my amazing audience.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's great to have you guys together in the studio today to talk about such an amazing topic. I mean, as young people or young adults aspiring to have such a beautiful union one day, we would like to hear all the details. What you people think marriage is. Has marriage been what you envisioned before you went into it? You guys are considered to be a couple that are still in the honeymoon phase. Is it indeed really the honeymoon phase, or is bittersweet? You know, we will find out all these things. But first of all, how are you guys doing? How is COVID treating you? Have you guys gone for your vaccine? I want to hear from you if you've gone for your vaccine and if there were any side effects or it was great.
Us?
Yes, the young couple.
Oh. No, we haven't. We haven't done that yet, but soon.
But soon, right? Okay, sure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for I'm very grateful to have you guys with me here. My next couple is Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete. Hello, if you can hear me. Good evening. You guys look very glorious today with your whites and your white background. I am very happy How are you guys faring? The family, work, all the up and downs. Has the week been a good one?
God's grace, difficult, but
yeah,
we are still alive, so we are grateful.
Yeah. Okay. I am so grateful to have you in the studio, but I would ask that, are you guys still as you met, or there have been some characters that now when you see each other, you're like, hey, but I didn't think you're like that too.
I think she has seen all the characters now, so she knows how they look like.
Right. So guys, these are the wonderful people I'll be talking to today. They are going to share with us all the tips, all the tricks, all the knowledge they've learned so far from being together. Adobia and Daniel are also going to share with us how their not so long journey has been so far and how God has been amazing in this in these beautiful unions. We'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the discussion. This is Real Talk. My name is Evie, your usual hostess. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, are you part of the 1000? Yes, you. Are you one? Hope Channel Ghana is inviting you, your friends and family to join the soul-winning trend in what is dubbed Hope Club 1000.
Hope Club 1000?
Yes, Hope Club 1000. It is a scheme designed to enable persons like you who want to support the growth of Hope Channel to donate a minimum of 100 cedis every month. If you cannot cross the ocean and the heathen land explore, if you cannot sing like angels and preach like Paul, if the master's call for evangelism is at the core of your heart, then this is an opportunity for you to contribute your resources for the advancement of the soul-winning agenda of the channel. Do you want to donate? Pay directly to the Hope Channel Momo account 0249193083 or Zenith Bank account number 6010190657 and be blessed.
I must be part of this train.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. You're watching your favorite show, Real Talk, with your hostess, Evie. Today I have with me virtually Mr. and Mrs. Nai and Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete. I would go straight to Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete, since I would say they are seniors and they've had more experience with this whole institution than any of us. So I would ask, I'll come to you, Nini. I'll come to you first, and then I'll ask, how do you know you are making the right choice? How do you know when you're making the right choice? Is it something that the person says? Is it how you relate with the person? Is it shown to you in a dream by God? Like, what are some of the ways that you realized and were so convicted that indeed Ina, your beautiful wife, is the right person for you?
So first, Evie, let me say that let's put aside Hollywood and all the interesting things it shows. Let's set it aside. Believe you me, if you follow any of those things, you've just got a few years down the line. I mean, some of those things may be symptoms, but I think especially for Christians who understand how serious this is and how it impacts our eternity, it must be something that you are praying about, you are conscientiously seeking God's face about. I know Daniel and I have discussed these things many times. and you, when you have sought God's face about it, you know, you will feel it, you will understand that this is the person because it just feels right. But there are a number of things too. There are simple things. For me, some of the things was the fact that we were not just friends. We had fought. we had learned how to deal with conflict. We had been good friends, and I got to a point where no day was complete without the other person being in it. And so when you start to get all these signs that come through that just show you that life is just not complete with this person, without this person, and then you start to go towards it. But this is started off or initiated by a lot of prayer, and then as you spend time getting to know the person and hearing all the various things, you come to that point where you know that this is real, and that you just want to spend the rest of your life with this person.
Right. Ina, was the same for you, or there was something specific that convicted you and said, yes, this is him?
No, Evelyn, I must admit to you that for me, I didn't have that kind of thought process. Okay. I was just a very good friend with this person, and I enjoyed his companionship. So it was, for me, when marriage came, it was just like a friendship that is going to continue, that is moving on to another level. So it wasn't something that I actually prayed about or say that, okay, if I marry this person, the relationship will last. No, for me, I was just going with the flow. I mean, this is a friend, and now you get to live with this person that you like so much. I mean, it's just like a continuous friendship. But with hindsight, I would say that, to the extent that I cannot predict what can happen tomorrow, even from today, or what can happen in the next minutes. I cannot tell you that, anybody can be sure that, yes, if you meet somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with, you are so sure that, yes, this is the person. You cannot do that. But there's only one person who, we know knows tomorrow. So why don't you involve that person in? So I mean, anyone thinking of marriage or marriage, I would say that, yes, involve Jehovah in it. And sometimes we pick the person and then we just want God to endorse it. No, have an open mind, pray about it, and then when God speaks to you, please hear him out. It's very important.
When God speaks to you,
as I just told you, it was just a continuation of my friendship with my friend.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things I have heard, where you said that the friendship is continuing. I mean, what more could you ask for? Having a conversation with somebody that now you don't have to end and go home. You can continue the conversation over and over because you guys live together. Yeah. That is one of the most beautiful things. You're waking up to somebody you enjoy so much. And I think that's great. So from your point, I think friendship is very important in a relationship and marriage as well. I'll come to Daniel and Adobia. You guys I would still consider you guys newly married because you're just a little over a year. And I would ask quickly if you can also share how, Daniel, you got to know that Adobia was the one. Adobia, how you got to know that Daniel was the one. And this honeymoon phase we keep hearing. I hear people saying that the first year was one of the most trying years of their marriage because we're still figuring things out. But are you guys still in the honeymoon phase? Adobia, is he opening the car doors for you? Is he getting you water when you just choke a little? Or he's like, can't you see that there's pepper in the thing that you're talking about eating? How is it going so far?
Okay, so I think you've asked a couple of questions in one, so I really don't know which one.
Okay, tackle how you got to know he was the one, and if you're still in the honeymoon phase.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I got to know he was the one because he showed one or two signs that I felt that no, this is just it. And I have come to also realize that most of the times when guys approach you, they don't have a plan for the future. So someone just wants to come and then let's try and see. If it happens that we get to marry, yes, we get to marry. But this person came and it's like, look, not that I'm in a hurry, but I can't really waste time. I want to settle down with you in so and so years. So for me, this is someone who is serious. It's not someone who is just come to mess around and then just go away. So I was looking out for those things because I had been in previous relationships whereby it didn't end so well. So I was very, very cautious, even though I was also praying about it. I was very cautious not to make any mistake again. But when he came, he was like, to me, a very serious person who knew what he wanted to do. And I was like, okay, why not? Let's give it a try. And he also didn't go like, okay, because I want to marry you in so and so years, that is it. Let's get to know each other. Let's give ourselves like 6 months to get to know each other. Then we can decide from there what we want to do. So we had a little time to get to know each other. And then when that time came, we were both certain that this is what we want to do. and about we still being in the honeymoon phases. Me, I'll say no. We are not.
This is real talk. Tell us.
This is real talk. You know, if Stephen is watching, Stephen will say that I told him whatever you know that you cannot finish, do not start.
Right.
So we are not. The car opening, and he's so much in a hurry to open the car for you to sit down. Oh, this time, even when I'm going to work, get out and go open the gate. Go ahead, open the gate. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I mean, yes, it's been fun. I wouldn't say that because of that we are still not enjoying. We are having fun.
Right.
And for having COVID coming into the system actually helped us to spend time with each other and then bond really well.
Yeah. Daniel, I can see you're nodding to some of the things your wife is saying and completely agreeing, but how did you, what was the sign? What did she do that made you go like, yes, this is what I've been looking for?
I've been just under the bus.
Pardon?
I'm saying that since I've just been pushed under the bus, I'm just trying to recover and then put myself
I hope you recover.
Yes. I think for me, you know, my dad always said that, you know, like there's a stage of like there's a time for everything in life, and as the Bible says, I mean, you should be able to know that this is the time for it. You know, this is the time for marriage. You're getting close to that place. You need to prepare. But people say that, because they say that there's a time for everything, who want to wait? When the time comes, as if the time itself would bring itself. But I think when it comes to life, you should be able to know the time you're supposed to, you know, pursue an education, but, you know, get a job, get married, and all that. Like, there's a perfect time for it and all that. So, I mean, I got to that point where I knew that, any moment from now, you know, I need to start building a relationship that will lead to marriage. And I mean, I think that though I had challenges in the beginning and with previous relationship as well, at least I think I was talking to people. I think Mr. Nyamanka was one of them. And, you know, any emotion that you have, any conversation with him, you punch a holes into each and every idea.
Right.
The Hollywood ideas would just fly away from your mind and all that.
Right.
And, you know, I think one of those conversations were amazing. And I had a friend, Paul Jerry, who, I mean, he would actually paint the clear picture for you. So that, you know, that marriage is not a bed of roses. I mean, you know, and even though it may seem like people say it's a bed of roses, they say that, you know, anytime you go and pluck a rose, there are thorns on it. So you can have the roses on the bed, but the thorns are there. So I think due to some of this advice and all that, I was able to, you know, just pray for guidance and for God to guide me, because I think that he always said something that, you know, even though God wouldn't choose for you, you should at least talk to him to help you, guide you. And I think I had a whole year praying about this issue that God should guide me to make the decision, because there were a lot of, you know, women around at the time, and you're considering whether to date this girl, how it's going to be like, and sometimes you even go home and ask certain questions with your parents, you know, even though there's nothing there, but I just trying to pick their minds on how they welcome someone like this woman and all that. I mean, I was just trying to, you know, do my homework and all that. But I think that along the way, I think it was camp meeting. I think I went to camp meeting, and I remember telling one of my friends that after that camp meeting that, I don't know, but I believe when I come back home, I'll meet my wife.
Oh, wow. Faith.
And that was one of the things that I said. I remember telling her this. And I think that was the time that, you know, I came back home, and then the conversation started not too long ago from that. I started just having a lot of conversation. The conversation was even more than it was, because I remember previous years, you know, there are times that we take selfies at church, and, you know, people would open your DM. Is she the one, you know, and back then it was just friendship, you know, we're just talking once in a while and all that. But after that instance, I think that's when things began to, you know, just move to a different level, you know, sat down, talk, you know, into bond much better, because I think Adibia is somebody I've known for more than 5 years. She's one of those people, like, you know, you see at church once in a while. I mean, doing family praise, she'll come around at, or any event, you see at a wedding and that, how are you doing, Charlie, what's going on? And, you know, I think all my cousins know Adibia, from Derek to Andrews. Everybody knows Adibia already. So she wasn't anybody, you know, that people were not familiar with. I mean, from Cyril to everybody actually knew her. So I mean, it was a bit welcoming to have her around already. So when Post spotted the thing, they were like, hey,
right,
she's the one, and everybody was like, hey, Adubia, and all that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how it started. But God guided me through it, and I think in the beginning, even though there were a lot of challenges, even at certain points, because you ask questions, because you are scared, whether you are making the right decision or not. But I believe that the more you pray about it, the more the Lord guides you. Things just fall in place, just like that.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. And I can completely agree with you. I think myself, I've had a lengthy conversation with me. And one of the things he told me too was that, yes, God will not choose your partner for you, but you just need to seek for his direction, because this is a lifelong journey that obviously you need some sort of superior confirmation that what you are going in for is the right one. But Nia, I'll come to you. You and Ina have been together for a really long time. I mean, it's not, when I say really long, it is long, because I mean, in my opinion, that's like a really long time to be with one person. And I want to find out from the two of you the ideal of marriage. You know, when people are going to get married, they're like, oh, I'm going to be a Mrs. and I am going to be with my husband and I'll wear a ring, and now when I go out, everybody will know I'm married and we are going to live together. It's all this fantasy. It's like the dream wedding and with the whatever bridesmaids and what have you. The ideal of marriage is definitely different or the presumptions people have of marriage is definitely different from the reality of it. When you're at home with this person, when you can't stand them, yet you have to wake up with them, when they annoy you, when they take the toothpaste and press from the middle, when they forget to put down the toilet seat. You know, all these annoying traits that people have and how it can interfere with the once beautiful union or relationship you had. Please, the two of you guys can decide to cut in at any time and share this point, but what is your opinion on the ideal of marriage and then the reality of marriage?
Right. And I think you should go first.
Okay. Evelyn, I think what you just described is maybe the honeymoon phase.
Okay.
Where you all bliss, it's all fun. We are just, just by the person sitting by you, we are so happy that, the companionship, you are enjoying it and all that. Yes, and I think as the phrase goes, it's a phase, honeymoon phase. It's a phase, and so after sometimes it goes away. It's not permanent. Now, when you come in, you finally find out that, oh, this person that I thought was so handsome. Oh, look at his ears. Oh, look at his head. Look at this shape. He's not so perfect after all. You know what I mean? So that's one phase. But like the most important thing is that after some time you realize that, okay, so we have to pay bills, we have to settle bills, we have to do so many things, especially when the children come in. Then you realize that it was not really happily ever after that, you dreamt of, because there are so many things that you need to do. You have to get up, clean, scrub, all those things. I'm sure when you're painting the ideal marriage or ideal relationship, sometimes we forget about those things, So right. If I want to scrub and I get overwhelmed and I ask me to do it, then he frowns, all those things. These are the reality. These are the realities. But the beautiful thing about it is that what I have discovered is that, as you grow, the relationship also evolves. I don't know, but for me, I think I'm enjoying my marriage now than those early years.
Wow.
Why? Because we've grown together, we've matured together, we've known each other, so we know what is equilibrium in this relationship. Okay, so we've made our mistakes, we fought, we've done all those things. But now we are just some, we are really enjoying ourselves now.
Right.
And thankfully to the children are growing. So yeah, I would say that you are really, what do you say?
but Evie, just to put a bit there, I think many people are just attached and married to the wedding day and the fun of the wedding day, and unfortunately tend to extrapolate all of that fun into the marriage. And I remember what our counselors told us when we were starting out that when we're planning for the wedding, it says, look, don't put too much energy into the wedding day. There's work to be done. Plan for the work. And I remember that statement so well, because as you prepare for it, it's really an important day. That's not to denigrate the day, but to say that I think couples who are planning for a long marriage to understand that there's work to be done. The reality of marriage is that it is hard work, and it's learning every day. When you were saying that you've been married for a long time, if you are living with people who have been married 45 years and 30 something years, you feel like you have just started out there. You want to start quickly your steps. And from them you learn that it is hard work. For many people, there's no easy part about marriage. Nothing about it is easy. When you see Ina and I in public and you see us laughing and all of that, don't for a moment think that we have never fought. We have real proper fights, but we've learned how to fight. We've learned how to share and say, this is what I don't like. And when I don't like it, this is how I'll tell you. I've learned to pick up signs. I can tell like a day or two before time when it's time to start to prepare your apology, because you've really blown it. You can tell you just by an answer that to be given, the brevity of the answer. But all of those things came from hard work.
Right.
So marriage is hard work. That's the reality of marriage. There's nothing easy about it, and I don't think we should be afraid of it. It's like you go to school, you study hard, you get a degree. And when you're getting a degree, you're smiling about it. Marriage is like that. It's like working for a degree. That's always a few more years ahead. You get to every stage, and you get given just milestone certificates. You don't get an actual degree. You just keep working hard at it. So it's hard work.
Yeah. Before I go to Adobia and Daniel, I'd like to ask again your opinion on when people say do not settle on a person, because I know that a lot of times young people, oh, why don't you, you're not getting any younger, why don't you go for this person? And then you also hear, oh, do not settle, and you also in the same breath here, oh, the love will come, you grow to love each other, these things are not really important. If he's willing and you're willing, when there's a will, there's a way, all these things we hear. But what's your opinion on resigning or settling on a person? Does it come back to bite you in the God knows where?
I think when you do that and the trouble starts coming, you will not have the courage to wait or to fight for the relationship, because you start by saying that, oh, you are just resigning yourself to, okay, so I'm not going any younger, and this is what I have available, let me just take it. It is not something that you have really cherished. I just told you that for me it was just like a continuation of a friendship. So of course I wouldn't want to lose my friend overnight. But if it is somebody that I don't have any affection for or anything like that, when the troubles start coming, I will just walk. It will be easy for me to walk away.
Right.
So there must be commitment. There must be commitment. And if you feel that you don't have that commitment, Evelyn, believe me, you will soon walk away. You will not wait to fight for it.
Or you might even live a life with so much less quality than you plan for yourself.
Right.
And it's work, because somehow for many of our parents, they I think they understood the commitment of marriage. So a lot of them did not really start with love, but they grew in it. And some people, it happens for them. But in our age where where we need to stay and fight for what we believe in.
Right.
It's a dangerous place to play. You're either in a space where, like Ina said, you will not stay and fight for it. If it gets hard, and it will get hard, there's no running out of that. Or you resign yourself to a life that you don't enjoy. But because we worship the status of marriage more than the quality of life, we continue to live those very challenged lives instead of having more to life than we should. So I don't know. I wouldn't advise it. For us in our society, marriage is so important that so many people resign themselves to partners. There are few success stories, but they're so few and far in between that.
Yeah.
I think it's the right way. I don't think it's the best way to move forward.
To go forward. I thank you so much, and I completely agree with what you've all said. But Adobia, how is your conflicts resolution in your homes? How do you do it? Do you give the silent treatment? How do you guys figure things out when things are a bit hot and everybody is not really happy with each other? If you can share just some few examples with us.
I would want Daniel to answer that.
Daniel, your wife, head of home, how do you guys resolve conflict in the home?
Okay, so I think we all react differently when there's a conflict. I think I'm the person who wants to draw closer. For me, I don't like the silent treatment. But I think it took me some time to actually understand that silent doesn't mean that there wouldn't be a communication at any point in time. Because there were times that you realize that what's going on? So why are you not talking about it? Why don't you want to talk about it? But for her, I think in that moment she doesn't want to say things that would hurt you. So she rather choose to be quiet and wait till everything settles for her before you can now come in and then now talk about it. And sometimes you don't even plan to talk about it, but something will just come up and then we'll just lead up, for that conversation to come up. And as long as you are living in this 4 square, house, you can't say that you won't talk to each other. You will definitely end up talking to each other and then being able to sort. Because for me, when you talk about it and there's an understanding, I think that's the best thing, because it really helps to actually deal with the problem much better. Yeah.
Let me just add to what he said.
Yeah.
He does better. He does better when it comes to conflict resolution, because imagine if I go quiet and he also goes quiet.
Nobody will talk.
Then there's a problem. Exactly. So he's a type that, okay, so what's the problem? I really don't want to talk. No, you have to talk about it. I don't want you. No, you have to talk. So he will just push you, and before you realize you're talking about it, then there's a solution.
Right.
So that's why I actually wanted him to answer that question, because he does far better.
Right.
Because when I'm angry and I begin to talk, it looks like I talk as if I don't have brains. So I just decide to keep quiet and let the anger or whatever settle before I'm able to express myself better.
Right.
So he does fantastic with that.
Right.
And that's why I wanted him to.
Okay. So Adobia, before I go on my break, I want to ask what you thought of marriage before you entered. Is that what it is?
No. I don't even remember what I thought about marriage, but I think that whatever I wanted to see in my husband, or whatever I wanted my husband to be like, is actually what I have.
That's amazing.
So I'm grateful to God for that, and I'm really content. So if I pray to God for him to give me someone who is not so quick-tempered, someone who is accommodating and everything, and you get exactly that, you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an answered prayer right there for you. And I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying your marriage, both Mr. and Mrs. Nine and Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete. And they indeed said, yes, it is beautiful, but do not for a moment think that we do not fight, we do not disagree in our home. This is Real Talk. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, Hope TV Ghana. You can watch us there. Leave comments, questions you want me to ask our amazing panelists. When I come back, I'll do just that. Go for a quick break, a very, very quick break. And when I come back, I have more questions for my guests. We would like to find out what has been the most trying moment in their marriage so far. So do not go anywhere. This is Real Talk. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, and this is Real Talk, the most candid show on your screens today, if I do say so myself. I have with me virtually Mr. and Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete. Today we are looking at the journey of marriage, the reality of it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We've been talking about how they decided on each other. We've looked at conflict resolutions. We've looked at resigning to or with a partner, and we've also looked at the ideal of marriage and the reality of marriage. Now I'll go straight to the couple that have been together for a longer time, which is Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete, and ask them to share maybe just one moment that has really tried their beautiful union. What happened that probably made them say, "That be this one, yeah, I won't do again." It's me that I said I'll do, but now I say I won't do again. If they can share that moment with us, and then we'll look at Mr. and Mrs. Nai as well.
Evelyn,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, not to scare you, but for us, it was when the children started coming. I'm telling you, nothing prepares you for it. They are beautiful. They are a joy to be with. But believe me, it is hard work. My husband would say, capital intensive children, and it is true. I mean, it is hard work. And if you are not mentally prepared for it, it can really put a lot of stress on the relationship. You become frustrated, and you become resentful. I'm sure at a point, me was thinking that he was competing with the children. But you know what? The beauty of it is that we went on to have 1, 2, and 3. So I don't be not to scare you, but for us that was really stressful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I always say that we were fortunate in terms of our counseling. We had very thorough counseling, but somehow in the curriculum for counseling, no one shared with us the intensity of what was required or what the calling was for me to be a father. I wasn't ready to be a father when I had my first child, and poor girl, it took me quite a while. It took me almost 2-3 years to figure out that I was part of the equation.
And by that time, the second one had come.
The second one had come. I was very late to the game.
So for someone who was not prepared.
That's why the world has got many children, not too many fathers. That's the problem. Yeah. So I wasn't prepared. I see that as one of the weaknesses in that whole counseling curriculum for men. It's one thing to father a child, and then to be there in person as a father who supports and helps that child grow. And for me, we had waited 2 years to have our children, and so it was fun. We had just started our careers, and we're closing late, and we just go eat. The weekend we could sleep in till 11. We didn't care what was happening in the rest of the world. We could shut the door, and the whole weekend we are in till Monday. Nothing to do. When we are hungry, just go out. It was fun. That's the marriage I saw.
Right.
And then Awo came along. Wow, she didn't ask to come. And then she comes, and I'm thinking, who is this person who's taking my wife away from me? And honestly, I was competing with it. And it was a very difficult time in the marriage because, for start, I wasn't giving Ina the support she deserved, emotionally, and just being there physically present. And she must have been emotionally battered by that time. I thank God that she had the strength to wait for me to mature, to start to figure out what it is. So I always tell all my young friends, please, at that time, don't make the same mistakes I made. For many women, it's been very emotionally destructive. And if you don't, and if especially for the guys, if you don't figure it out early, you would have very challenged marriages.
Right.
So that was a very difficult time. But the good thing was eventually, I finally figured it out many years later. The whole thing of being a father. But I thank God that we made it through that patch. It was not an easy patch.
Right.
But we survived it, and I'm very grateful to God for that. It couldn't have been easy. And actually, Ina is the strong one who was standing in the gap during that whole time, praying for me and for my wahala.
We thank God for growth. Mr. and Mrs. Nine, you guys are quite young, but what has been the most trying moment in your marriage so far?
Okay, so I would say that right after the wedding, 3 months later, then my husband walks to me and says that, you know what, I want to resign from my company, my work, and do my own thing. So when he said that, I wasn't so surprised because there has been complaints about how he didn't feel happy working at where he used to work and how stressed he was and everything. And when you are working with a company and you don't enjoy whatever you do, it's just something else. And he's someone that I believed so much in what he can do with the skills that he has. So I told him, okay, why not? If you want to do set up yourself, be an entrepreneur, go ahead and do it. I probably didn't think about the hardship that was lying ahead. But all I knew at that moment was that I just knew that he could do it. So I was like, okay, then let's do it. Then the whole thing begins. You are expecting things to, flow or flourish, and businesses coming from left, right, center. But it wasn't like that. Then I was like, hey, what's happening? What's happening? Is this how it's going to be? Already where I am also is a place that I'm also not too comfortable with. So the whole thing becomes very, very, very difficult, battling with financial issues. And it's real. I won't sit here and try to, sugarcoat it. So it's tough. Just having to get married in a year and then you are just not seeing top. Everything is difficult, and you begin to ask yourself, is there actually going to be a way out? Is it going to be better? Like, really, God, are you actually going to let us struggle, sir?
I know, right?
But the good thing is that at the end of the day, I can just sit and watch him. He looks not bothered. Like, it's like that's how it looks like. Like, he's not bothered. But I know that if he's a man and he's not bothered, then he has issues. He is really bothered, but the kind of faith that he has, I've not seen that before.
Faith. Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to add something, but the kind of faith that he has. And he would speak into matters and go like, oh, this one by next week I'll get money. By next month or everything. I'm like, dude, you're not sweet up. What are you talking about? But for whatever reason, each and every blessed week or every month, we never go to bed hungry.
Right. Right.
So these are the tough times. And I believe that, I mean, every couple or even every individual goes through hard times.
Yeah.
And it's just a phase.
Yeah.
We wouldn't see
Just a
ourselves where we are in probably about 5 years' time or 10 years' time. People struggle like we did. So there's lights at the tunnel.
And just to add to what she said, I mean, the time I was planning to leave my former place, I think we didn't see COVID coming. The COVID thing wasn't in perspective. So you quit in February. No, I think it was in January. So a month, that's February, and then in March, COVID happens.
Yeah.
So I think in February, I was establishing contact. I actually made a spreadsheet of the client I wanted to hit. And then when things happened in I think in March, and I was like, wow. So it shook me to the core. I was like, hey, Charlie, what kind of decision have I just taken?
Yeah.
Even though I think when you see me, I look unbothered, but my mind, I was like, did I take the right decision? But there was, I think for me, it was more like a conviction, that I had from God. And when I pray about it, God just tells me to have hope. And I think I was telling Adobia that I think COVID period was one of the times that I really made a lot of inroads and establishing client contacts and all that. It was one of the best time that I could learn, I could study, improve my skills and all that. So even though I was concerned at the time, I think that was even a blessing in disguise, because I knew that the first year was going to be difficult, because anyone I had spoken to was like, it will take like 5 years for you to actually be grounded. So I actually didn't expect, an honeymoon kind of, hit $1 million deal at the first year and all that. I knew that things would be difficult, but all I wanted to do was to make sure that I am the man, and the things I was supposed to do, I'll be able to do it. And funny enough, I mean, yes, we don't really, get so much, but at least we get just enough to take care of us. And that's how God works. When I went in the morning, I was telling the brothers, at times I don't even market my stuff that well, but I just wake up and then I get a call. And that's how it starts. After my devotions, a call comes through, and then, a job comes through, and then it's able to sort a lot of things out. But as we go, realize that our demands and our needs become a bit bigger. And through it all, we've had, even friends. I think on my birthday, somebody sent me money and all that. We had people who come in, or somebody's, I know a client who saw that I was going through a lot of challenges at the time, and it was like, you just take this money. Thinking I was alone, and then I go back to go and pay, and he says that, no, just keep the money, you need it around this time. So God has been moving in ways that I couldn't really explain and understand.
Yeah. And
by God's grace, yes, even though things are still not as normal as it is, but things are getting better and things are improving. And we're just hoping that, yes, with our finances, God will actually come through, in a very huge way. I know He's been doing an amazing work for us, but we know that I believe and have that faith that, things will be much better.
Yeah. Faith is all we can have in these moments when things happen like this. But I have a question coming in, and for some weird reason, this question I have coming from Josephine is part of the questions I want to ask. But me and Inas, Josephine is trying to know, and even myself, what is with our generation that marriages are ending, or they seem to be ending very quickly? You see people are together for a year or two, then they say they are not together anymore. 5 years, then they said, oh, I've divorced him. 3 years, oh, I can't live with him. What is going on that makes this so common in our generation? Because looking at the marriages of our parents, they can be together for 50 years, 45 years, 35 years, and they still look like they enjoy each other's company. But with us, a year or two, and we're already fed up. It's like Kofi Papa. Like, we are very, I don't know, we are very quick to decide to walk out of marriages now. What do you think is making this generation behave like this? Is it the matter of choice? Do we think there's something better out there? Or is it a matter of commitment?
I think it boils down to commitment. I think our parents are the more a greater, respect for that whole institution of marriage. I mean, it doesn't matter whether your parents are Muslim or traditional religion or Christian. They saw marriage as a very sacred thing and tried very hard to keep it, especially for, and I'll say especially our mothers. They kind of sucked in a lot to hold the marriages together for as long as it did. A lot of them, the faith and confidence really stuck out in situations that today I can't see many people standing through. Was just amazing, and that's what's missing today. For all of us, myself included, our commitment is shorter and less lasting like our parents. It's that age where we are a lot more selfish than they were. That spirit of self-sacrifice is just more difficult to find. People are so more conscious about their rights, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that when marriage is involved, there's a lot of giving of self to the relationship, a lot of understanding that there's sacrifice. That I've heard people talk about marriage being a 50-50. There's no 50-50 marriage. It's 100-100. Everybody's giving 100 or more for it to survive. If somebody's giving less, it makes it a lot more difficult. So parents, I think what I've noticed, and please forgive me, I'm speaking from a very close community, a community where we've just lived on the example of many people who have just been married 30 years, 40 years, within the church community and all of that. But that's what's lacking. For most people, as soon as the kitchen gets hot, time to leave. I'm not going to wait for this. I'm not going to sit for this. I will not tolerate this. And we don't give the marriage space to breathe. And that's what's happening with our generation. I think we've allowed too much of and forgive me, I might be ignorant of it, but I think there's a lot more westernization of our culture that's making it impossible to stay true to those values. I don't know, but I believe that Africans have a stronger commitment to the marriage institution than what's happening in the world around us. And those dilution of those values with our eagerness to westernizers accounts for a lot of the lack of commitment and sacrifice that marriage deserves.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Yeah,
Okay.
Commitment, hard work, commitment.
Yeah.
And you wanting to desire that, how do I call it? You wanting it. I mean, you want it to work. You don't. For example, I was just telling me this afternoon that if you ask me why am I still here, it's just because I think between me and I, we have, by God's grace and with God's help, we managed to build a home that for me is like a refuge, So when I go out there and I come back home. Home is my place of happiness, But as I was telling you, Evelyn, I just told you that I think I'm enjoying my marriage now more than I used to in the past. It is because by God's grace, we allow it to mature. So we kind of, we manage to find an equilibrium, in the relationship. And that is what keeps us going.
Yeah. So my final question to you guys before I move to Adobia with the same final question is, Ina, what keeps you going?
Okay. Evelyn, I think I just told you. As I said, what I think I have, I cherish it, and then I have no reason to walk away from it. And so for me, that is it. I like what I have. I am content with what I have, and I have no reason to let it go. And so I am in.
Yeah. Ni, what keeps you going?
It's around simply that. So we started out as partners wanting to build something together. And we built we've grown our friendship, we've built that relationship.
Yeah.
And in it, we've been blessed with children who are very special for us. But right from the very beginning, when we started this relationship, we asked God to lead it. At the altar when we knelt, and I remember knelt down when we came back home. I mean, of course, when we went through the honeymoon phase, for me, I totally forgot about this thing. But when the challenges came, I remember I just went on my knees. I said, God, I can't do this anymore. I need you in here, because if you don't, I'll continue to make all the stupid mistakes that I made in the past. So help me, hold my hand through this.
Yeah.
And so when we even get to a part where, I mean, and like I said, for us, the conflict resolution is a conversation. The accountability will happen. Even if it's 10 years, you account, you have the conversation. He now will call you to account. You must have it. You can't run away from it.
Yeah.
And the important thing is, there are times when we get to this point where there are issues we still don't agree on. There are issues that we know are that thing, as soon as a match comes to it, it would explode. When we want to come and talk about it, we all just invite God. And we say, okay. And I remember sometimes we used to go, when we started, he says, I love you. I love you. However, then, I love you, Paul. I love you, Paul. And then she will proceed to give it to you. So it's a combination of finding my soulmate.
Yeah.
But very importantly, that when I get to that point where I see that I don't think marriage can succeed or thrive without God at the center of it. I don't know how anyone looks at it, but for me, just when I get to that my limit where I think I can't do this anymore. Like I just raise my hand and I say, okay, God, don't wait till tomorrow morning. Let's see how it happens.
Yeah.
And by the time you realize you're back in stride, and God's grace.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Daniel, quickly, what keeps you going?
Yeah, I'll say that it's just the grace of God and the fact that there were certain prayers that I put before God before we got married. Because I think one of the first things that I put before God was that He knows the future. He knows tomorrow. I can't see tomorrow. He knows tomorrow. And for the sake of my salvation, as I'm entering into this, union, I need Him to guide me.
Yeah.
So if I enter into it wrongly and it will cost my salvation, don't let it happen. So for the fact that it has happened, anytime there are challenges, I look back to that. It's like as if the Holy Spirit just bring that prayer back to mind. And I just go before the altar of God and then just let God know that, this is it. So God really, I think something that Auntie Grace said, that we should always learn to separate the issue from the person.
Yep.
And I think that at each and every point in time, that's what I do. So you see that there are times when after we've had an argument, I'm nice, and then it's like, why are you nice to me? And I'm like, I'm separating the issue from you. I can't.
From you, yeah.
Even though I'll be like that, I still have to be nice to you.
Yeah. Adobia, is it same for you?
Come again.
Is it same for you? What keeps you going?
Two things: the love of family, and then peace of mind. I keep saying peace of mind. Because, see, even there's this thing that even if we have issues, we have problems, at the end of the day, funny enough, I still have peace of mind.
Yeah.
And the love of family. The family I entered into, family. That's for me there. I always call myself the most luckiest, in-law or daughter-in-law. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it, but the love of family, the kind of love they've shown to me, from immediate to extended, everyone. Sometimes I ask, sometimes he even thinks I'm too popular in the family than himself, but I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
And the kind of love they show to me, it outweighs every storm or any difficulty that,
comes your way,
comes to me. Yes. So for me, these two things are key. It keeps me going.
Yeah.
If I'm to have that constantly throughout, which I know wouldn't be like that, there'll be times that it to be rough. I'm okay.
But,
okay. That's beautiful.
If I can add this to it.
Very quickly, because we have to go.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine.
Okay, guys, our time is fast spent. I don't know, for some weird reason, when we're having good conversations, we need to end it. And my audience are saying that, this is from Ruth. She says, I think this is one of the shows I've really enjoyed. This is like the real talk. I hope we keep having more topics like this, and your guests are amazing. Thank you so much. This one says, hello Evie, interesting program. I share the same birthday, date, day, month and year with my spouse. We met not knowing of this till we fell in love. Then we got to know we shared this wonderful gift. What has kept us is not the twin effects, but forgiveness and friendship. I always say that what makes me, for instance, go and help in the kitchen is because of Christ. In marriage, each partner has to understand his or her accountability is to God first. See Christ instead of your partner, and you guys will be good. I mean, this discussion has been an amazing one. I have learned so much. One is friendship is key in marriages. One is prayer. You cannot go without praying. One is knowing what you want. And Ina mentioned something that people forget to talk about before they enter marriage. Finances. Finances is key. And know that even though children are a blessing, they can try your marriage. So I have learned a lot from this discussion. I hope you have also taken some sort of tidbits or some sort of apport from this whole conversation, and I hope it helps you in your relationship and your marriage. Mr. and Mrs. Knight, thank you so much for making it on today's show. It's always amazing having you on the show. It's a great conversation. Adobe, I know you're in a hurry to go and eat, so I won't keep you for long. Mr. and Mrs. Amanca Tete, thank you so much. Finally, I have you guys on your show. I've been chasing me for like God knows how long. And Ina, special love to you, because I know this wasn't easy, but you came through for me, and I can't be more grateful. I'm so grateful for your time, for your advice, and for sharing your story with us. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your family. Ina, when I see you, I have a special gift for you just for showing up, because I know this was it. This was it. If anything I tried you. So thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm so grateful to have you. To my amazing audience, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the show. We'll come your way same time next week on Hope TV. My name is Evie. Enjoy the rest of your day.